This is the Acer Aspire E15, and ever since May of 2018 it has been my portable solution for editing videos on the go. I did a video in November of that same year going over my experience with it up until that point, and in that video I praised the Acer for providing impressive specs at such a low price. That video, however, is going to be 2 years old this year, and since technology moves at such a rapid pace, I figured I'd take another look at it to see if it's still worth picking up even in 2020. After nearly 2 years with this laptop, I've had plenty of time to play around with it and put it through its paces. I've used it for several projects both here on the channel and elsewhere. I've recorded client work with it, and for a little while it was my main system while my desktop was out of commission. So after all of that use, how has it managed to hold up? Well, first up, let's talk about the specs. The Acer Aspire E15 is sporting an 8th gen Intel Core i5-8250U, 8GB of DDR4 memory, a dedicated NVIDIA GPU, and a 256GB SSD, all of which are still very much usable even in 2020. I honestly don't feel like the performance has taken a huge hit or anything, even after using it for close to 2 years. The CPU still has no problem while working in Premiere, After Effects, or Photoshop. The dedicated GPU also helps to take a load off of the processor, which really does speed things up. So far, I haven't found the 8GB of RAM to be limiting. However, I might take advantage of the additional RAM slot and expand it up to 16 gigs. The 256 gigs of provided storage hasn't been a big setback for me either, but that's because I like to offload a lot of my files either to the cloud or to my desktop, which has plenty of storage. If you need more storage though, the Acer comes with an empty 2.5-inch hard drive slot, so you can quickly add more storage if you need to. Overall, I feel like the performance from the Acer still holds up very well. Heavier tasks like video editing are handled just fine, and I haven't noticed very many performance issues while working on projects besides the occasional frame drop or stutter. The same goes for more casual tasks like web browsing or consuming media, which I haven't encountered any problems while doing. I get asked a lot how this laptop handles gaming, and I'm going to be very honest in saying that this isn't a gaming laptop. Now, that being said, this laptop is still capable of running a lot of games. In fact, it could be a great option if you're looking for a cheap laptop to play some games on, as long as you keep your expectations in check. Games like Minecraft, of course, run fine, but more intense games like Fortnite or Battlefront, or pretty much any AAA game, will require a little bit of graphical tweaking to get running smoothly. If you're shooting for 60 FPS, then expect to hover around the medium to high graphics range, or even lower depending on what game you're trying to run. I'm not a heavy gamer, so for me it runs perfectly fine, but for someone who wants to run a lot of modern games at high settings, you might consider looking for a more gaming-focused laptop. Next up is build quality. After a couple years of use plus some traveling, the Acer Aspire has held up pretty well. The inside and outside have accumulated a few more scratches, but nothing super serious. One thing I have noticed recently though is that my screen has developed a small white spot. I don't know what it's from, but it hasn't gotten bigger, which makes me think it isn't too big of a deal. My laptop is no longer under warranty, so for the time being, I'll just keep an eye on it. I also pointed out in my other video that my logo actually peeled off the front of the screen. This happened a month or two after I bought the laptop, so I don't know if I just got a bad sticker or something, but other than that, cosmetically, everything has held up fine. Now, what about practicality? The Acer Aspire E15 spans some 15 inches and remains fairly portable. I have no issue putting it into a backpack and taking it with me. It does lean a little bit on the thick side though, coming in at 1.2 inches. But at its price range, those are the kind of sacrifices that you're going to be making. Battery life is also pretty fair. I can typically get a day's worth of battery, but all of this depends on things like your battery's age, your screen brightness, or what program you're running. So whenever I can, I tend to just plug it in so I don't have to worry about it. So 2 years later, how does it hold up? Between the surprisingly decent hardware and the lower price, the Acer Aspire still remains a great option for content creators or someone just looking for a dependable laptop. If you're thinking of picking it up, I would try to get it used since that's going to be your cheapest option, and Amazon no longer sells this particular model brand new. If you want something a little newer, manufacturers are starting to put out laptops with similar specs, but with Ryzen-based processors. They tend to be pretty affordable and can offer a similar amount of horsepower if you want a newer computer. Overall, the Acer Aspire E15 remains a competitive option in 2020. It's capable of handling both casual and hardware-intense programs with ease, which makes it a great option for someone seeking a reliable laptop at an affordable price. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to let me know what you thought in the comments down below and leave a like if you enjoyed what you saw. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and till next time, you've been watching The All Around Filmmaker, and I'll see you in the next one.